Dang it. Well, we've got the brakes done on Old Tex. If you want to look down here in the wheel well, you can see we've got rebuilt calipers, new pads. We've got serviced hubs with the bearings greased and the seals renewed. And we also have upper and lower ball joints have been replaced. The bushings, the rubber bushings on the inner end of the upper control arm and the lower control arm, those are okay, so we're not going to do anything about those right now. So, and also up here in the engine compartment, you can see that we've got a refreshed master cylinder, and the brakes are pretty much buttoned up. All we really need to do at this point is bleed them and move on to the next project. There is one thing that I think it's important for you to understand at this point, and that is these hoses right here. The type of hose that you use for that is really, really important, because if you don't use the right hose, this is kind of what happens right here. This is the hose that was on the original run between the reservoir and the master cylinder, and the other one looked just as bad. The reason for that is that this is some type of hose other than one that actually works well with brake fluid. This is probably just some sort of a fuel line hose. And you can see that the sheathing on the outside has been deteriorated, and this is the main reason why all the paint was gone in the back rear corner, left rear corner of the engine compartment, because brake fluid and paint don't get along. So it's really important when you do a job like this that you use the right stuff. Now, what do you use? Well, this. And what this is brake reservoir hose. It's made specifically to do what we've done here. Now, if you go down to your auto parts store, the guy behind the counter, probably, as knowledgeable as they are, probably won't be familiar with this product, because usually the master cylinder reservoir is located either on the master cylinder or in some way does not require the use of some sort of a connecting link. This stuff is for remote reservoirs like this one right here. Now, they're probably going to have to order it, because all of the stores that I went to, they would have had to have ordered it. And it was kind of news to them that there was actually such a product. But it looks like a vacuum line, but it's impervious to brake fluid. Now, another problem with this is that this is really small. It's 1/4 inch ID. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to find some hose clamps that will enable you to tighten this down onto the nipples on the master cylinder and also on the reservoir. And that's kind of a problem, because I've got some examples here of, I think this is what I used, or what was used originally, and this had actually bottomed out before it got tight. So these things were actually loose on the outside of the hose that was on there originally. So what I chose to do is to take some clear vinyl that you can see right here and cut off about 1/2 inch of it. And this has to be of a size that you can actually get on the end of this hose. Now you'll see that there's a bit of an interference fit there. What I do is I take my snap ring pliers and I squeeze that open like that and stick this in there, retract the pliers, and push it on the rest of the way so it's flush with the end. Do not use WD-40 or any other sort of a lubricant. And then what you can do is you can take the snap ring pliers again and stick it inside there and stretch it out, and then quickly slide it on the hose like that. And then you can put the clamp on here, which you would have had to put on here prior. There's a discovery that I made, though, that is kind of interesting. And this may be controversial for some of you, but you'll notice that when I pull on this, it goes only as far as the ridge at the end of the nipple. I can pull it off if I really wanted to, but you know what? That's on there. And given the application that it's in my opinion, that's never coming off. I've had this sort of a setup in my track car for probably 8 years and never had a problem with it. And it's clean looking and you're not fumbling with clamps. You can get it off if you really want to, but under normal use, it's not coming off. So some of you may think that that's crazy to not have a clamp on the hoses related to the brake system, but you know what? If it works, it works. And we run these tests so you don't have to.